Hi there, Jacob here, and I'm here to tell you today about the works of Tom Phoenix. He's a creator that's kind of flown under the radar in previous years, and now he's finally here to reveal to us some of his unique offerings in the realms of mentalism and magic. Let's get right into it right now. So what we're going to talk about today are the two works I've seen so far by Tom, and it is the Book of Light and the Book of Odyssey. Kind of part of a larger collection that Tom is building over time of his highly creative mentalism that he's constructed relatively from scratch. By reading Tom's books, you kind of get the idea. Initially, Tom has not done a lot of mentalism reading, and I think that is a benefit in this case, because then you're going to find some pretty unique approaches to some unique premises, I'll say. While they do fall in line with standard kind of prediction, revelations, this, that, the other, they are uniquely presented, artistically presented, and you can sense a lot of time and love and devotion to the art has gone into this. Tom incorporates a lot of allied kind of arts, such as origami, slight trance work, and there's some really interesting poetry in here as well. So let's get right into the Book of Light to start off. So in the Book of Light, there are 6 total effects talked about, explained, given in intensive detail how Tom presents them for the real people. They are typically what I consider close-up or intimate mentalism pieces. Some range from bizarre to fairly kind of your normal, casual encounter kind of mentalism. For the most part, you're going to find this really unique presentational style in there, though. It's kind of Tom's hallmark, and you'll understand more as we go into the effects. So the very first effect in here is Stone of Remembrance. Stone of Remembrance is a birthstone prediction and a revelation of the month of somebody's birth. It can be expanded out even to the day of somebody's birth if you kind of take some other ideas from other texts and combine them in. Really unique offering here, and it introduces kind of a special something that you can construct at home that will really make some killer predictions possible. What I mean by this is, basically imagine you could hand somebody an envelope, and inside the envelope you can predict nearly anything. It's got my mind racing as to what you can actually do with it. It's a 2-part system, so it's the envelope and it's something else, a writing utensil, that do some really crazy, amazing, clean, astounding, and emotionally impactful moments of mentalism and just pure weird. The Angel's Gift is the next offering here inside of the Book of Light. It's an emotional, physical prediction, in a way, with an ornate gift box and a special something hidden inside that actually manifests the prediction itself, and a nice date of birth revelation to really seal things off and make it come full circle. In here you'll find a really interesting, artistic, poetic presentation that will fit some, won't fit others. Personally, it's not how I typically do things. I'm more of the motivational, metaphysical guy, but very interesting offerings all the same. The third offering we have here is A Time to Remember. A Time to Remember is a very interesting piece. It uses 2 spectators primarily and has some really interesting moments where there's spectators. Spectator kind of mind reading or clairvoyance, dare I say, hinted in it. It's a multi-revelation routine involving a watch and a pack of cards with kind of an interesting, what I would consider bizarre, mentalism kind of approach to it, and a nice double name prediction closer in physical form with something special they can kind of take away. Very nice how this is structured, very artistic, and it's a story that really can engross your audience in what you're actually doing. The forest is kind of one of the most unique ones. It's the 4th thing in the book. Essentially what it is, it's a really chilling story more than anything else that kind of manifests itself in physical form. It's more of a magic effect, I'd say, than anything. But if you're like me and you understand how to blend mentalism magic, which I don't do a lot, but you can, for example, take a coin effect, frame it as a hypnosis thing, believe it or not, and get it to fly very well and do some real work out of it. So you can find ways to tie things in here And this has that kind of feel to it because it feels very mystical. It feels like almost bringing up something from the said chilling story. Really, really touching piece. Great way to emotion involve somebody. Inspire is our fifth piece in here. It's essentially a prediction effect that is based around the concept of dreams, and it closes the hard-hitting prediction that is sealed inside an envelope that they are holding the entire time. This is really cool. Some of you out there will take this and apply other things to it. Once again, very poetic, very interesting presentation that Tom has, and that's just his swag. It's his style, and it does not mean that you have to take that same presentation. Once again, if you look in here and you say that none of these effects are beneficial, I guarantee you will even take away the gimmick out of it, and you'll be able to do all kinds of amazing stuff with it. It's really, really crazy what you'll find. The final offering in this book is the Paths of Light. Paths of Light is a beautiful, I would say more magic effect, where essentially you just are able to affect somebody's perception through a beautiful story and accomplish a amazing feat of magic in their hands. And it also has some really nice things where there's fire involved and everything else, but in such a way that it's still usable indoors and usable for us workers out there that are looking to do restaurants, close-up strolling, and even stage work. So that ties up the Book of Light. The Book of Light has a lot of interesting offerings. I think the main props, gimmicks that you are kind of learning about and that Tom has created for this book are really going to get your mind going as to what you can do with them. That being said, let's move on. Let's check out the Book of Odyssey. The Book of Odyssey is a really interesting book. It introduces a concept that I believe Tom calls the Aspen Glade. And the Aspen Glade is a really interesting concept for social mentalism performances. If you want to take two random people off the street and do this, not going to work quite as well, but there's still some things in here for those of you that do work in those environments. So if you're in an environment where people know each other, the Aspen Glade technique works really, really great and allows you to get all kinds of extra hit information. In a way, it's like pre-showless pre-show. Really, really nice what you can do in here. Let's get into the actual effects described, why they're incredible, and how they capitalize on some of this principle. So the main effect in the book that kind of takes the concept title is the Aspen Glade. It's a birthday revelation as a spectator's mind reader phase in the middle, kind of an automatic writing feel to it. And then it also has a second date of birth revelation at the end. It's really touching, nice, and just feels kind of off the cuff because it feels like it's a social interaction. This is really nice, and it begins to introduce kind of the concept of the Aspen Glade. And then later in the book, in the next following, I think it's 3 things. Yes, there's 3 different peaks actually in here that definitely go in there with it. So it's no surprise here. There's some form of peaking involved. There is a lot of mentalism that's traditional and that just works and is a worker's arsenal tool. You're going to find 3 unique handlings on peaks. Now, some of you will say that they have kind of reminiscence of older peaks, such as Ascendus Novus, but this is really a very much different handling of it, and they're much smoother and more natural, in my opinion. I've seen a lot of handlings of this style of billet read go. You're going to find in here 3 of them, essentially. They are the Aspen Peak, the Conjurer Peak, and the Pillar Peak, and they all have different functions and things that they fit in best with. When you check this out, you will almost definitely have to pick up billets and work with it, because once you kind of see how the peaks work real time as you're handling them, you'll find out they are really, really, really smooth. And you'll probably be incorporating them into other works you do as well, and also open up your own creativity to come up with more outside of what the original concepts in this book are even. Another offering we have here in the book, we have Gilly's Revenge. It's a really clever color sensing routine. It's the kind of stuff I like, because it feels very hands-off. The deck is shuffled, and it uses some principles that I fully don't understand. We've not had explanations of them by countless people, but Tom seems to understand them great, and they just work. You don't really have to understand how they work to get them to work. Essentially, what you're doing with this is a color sensing routine and a card calling-esque routine with an extra revelation of a name or something that feels like it's an open category at the end. Really clever, capitalizing some of the previously mentioned peaks. I think you'll find a lot of value in this. The Disposable Swami is probably my favorite thing from the Book of Odyssey. And I've heard of it before, I've seen it before, but it's the first time I think mass audience is going to get a hold of it. And it is kind of what it sounds like. It's a Swami that's gone just as quickly as it's there. You can construct them in droves, and relatively easily you're going to have a Swami gimmick anytime, anywhere, that literally you just have to remember to stick on whatever. So you're going to really like disposable Swami. Some of you are going to question whether or not it will work, but once you make one up, or I guess you have to make like sets of 6 at a time, it seems like, up, you will see they work quite well, and they produce exactly what you're looking for, sometimes even better than the traditional boons and Swamis you'll see on the market. So, the final effect, the final journey in our Book of Odyssey is going to be the Grasp of Time. This is a really kind of another one of those interesting artistic presentations that Tom is so talented at constructing. Essentially what it is, it's a revelation with a nice prediction kicker that almost feels like it's out in the open the entire time. Really unique offering here, and once again capitalize on Tom's gift of paper folding, which you'll see throughout both of these books. He uses origami quite a bit. He covers it to an extent, but he also gives you resources to learn it yourself. But this is a nice touch to add something else you're passionate in to your Mental or Magic, because in a way, paper folding origami is something very non-confrontational, non-invasive that people just get fascinated over. So I highly recommend you don't skip all the elements about origami just because you're not familiar with it. Learn some of them, incorporate them in, and figure out how to make it accent your own work. You'll find it's really beneficial. There you have it, folks. We have the Book of Odyssey and the Book of Light by Mr. Tom Phoenix. Tom has some incredibly creative mentalism. Some of it is kind of underground that you have to kind of know people to get. Others of it's pretty well available for you, so if you want to find out stuff that is widely available, I suggest you follow the link down below and check it out at your own convenience. If you want to know some other underground stuff, you will probably have to reach out to Tom himself. But Tom has a very fertile mind, always pushing out new ideas, and I really think you're going to find some things in these books that are going to completely shift the way you look at certain aspects of mentalism. Hey guys, Jacob here. Thanks again for tuning in. Really do appreciate it. If you enjoyed this video, there's a lot more to come. Interviews, product reviews, who knows else, what else, probably random rants by yours truly, and kind of things that you're just going to enjoy, really. Thank you for, again, if you haven't subscribed yet, you can do that actually by clicking here. I'd appreciate it. If you want to see the latest video, you can see that one here. It's really good. I'll see you next time, and thanks again for tuning in to Mystery Arts Inc.